By Ted Johnson, former Patriot. You can catch him here on our Patriots coverage during the football season. TJ, what's your read on the situation?
I couldn't believe the story today, you guys, and it's good to be with you tonight. But this was unreal because we can sit there and try and figure out, has anybody ever done anything like this before in the Bill Belichick era? And the answer is no. I've never seen a player ever make a formal request to be traded so publicly, a public statement like he did. And here's the thing, is that I think the Patriots, quite honestly, have lost that thing, that as you like to say, Michael, that made them the Patriots. All right, and I'm going to tie this. I told DJ earlier that I was going to somehow tie this N'Keal Harry statement into Tom Brady somehow, and this is it, okay? You take Tom Brady out of New England, and the entire ecosystem has been disrupted. I've been talking about this concept for a very long time, ever since Tom left, and this is another example of the ecosystem changing. When have you ever seen a player take on Bill Belichick that has not accomplished anything really in this league, like N'Keal Harry is taking him on so publicly? You saw last week, you saw Stephon Gilmore taking on Bill Belichick, basically when he's publicly went out and talked about his displeasure about his contract when he tweeted what he tweeted out last week. Okay, you're seeing things from players you've never seen before. You're seeing Bill Belichick do things you've never seen Bill Belichick do. Why? Why all of a sudden now? It's a totally different ecosystem now that Tom is gone, and you're seeing things and behaviors out of Bill Belichick and out of players that you have never seen before. And I think that's the reason why, guys.
Let me just jump in, DJ, quickly. It's so true. I was trying to think, Teddy, when is a player who sucks so bad is really, because we've seen good players take on Bill. You took on Bill in your fashion, and Deion Branch, Vince, Lawyer Malloy on down the line, Ty Law, good players have taken on Bill. And the only thing that jumped into my mind, it's not a perfect comparison, but remember when Monty Beisel lost his mind? I think it was the year you had retired, and this guy, couldn't play, but he was lashing out. The media was sort of lashing out, and it's like, it's that kind of thing. You just don't see it, and I think it's a point. It's sort of like Bill's lost his bully pulpit because they're no longer gifted into the AFC title game because Tom's gone.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to that. And people don't understand that. Just you take out one player. He was the player, though. He was the guy that set the example for everyone else. Bill could pump out his chest. He could play hardball because he knew he had Tom behind him to kind of cover his warts and make up for any decisions that he made. And so guys fell in line because you wanted to be for a winner. You wanted to play with Tom Brady. You wanted to win. And I just don't think that same feeling is there for players in this organization. You're just seeing so many things. If you look at all the examples of the changing ecosystem, just starting from last year, Michael and DJ, you had 8 opt-outs. You had essentially Stephon Gilmore have a holdout last training camp that the Patriots caved in and gave him money for last year. Bloating contracts with aging veterans. You're seeing more excuses than you've ever seen out of Bill Belichick. A 7-9 record. I mean, it's unbelievable, all the front office changes that you've seen. And now you have Stephon Gilmore publicly saying that he's not happy with his contract. And now N'Keal Harry. It's so different now in Foxborough than it's ever been. The ecosystem is completely different, and you're just seeing behaviors I've never seen. And N'Keal Harry, let's face it, you can sit there and go, the guy's an idiot. That was dumb for what he did. But I would argue, Michael and DJ, that might have been a smart thing for him to do. And I'll tell you why. Because is Bill Belichick, is he gonna keep a guy like N'Keal Harry, who's an underperformer, who's not the guy that we all hoped he'd be, on a roster in a position that's a key position for this team? Is Bill going to cut off his nose to spite his face just to prove his point to N'Keal Harry so everyone can see? You know what? He has to proceed with caution. In the past, he could do that. I'm not so sure he can get away with that now with all the pressure on this team to have a good season based on what happened last year with this team.
But just looking at their room, Ted, at receiver, their receivers absolutely stink. If he's actually thinking rationally, I need to give myself the best chance to win here, N'Keal Harry is stunk. We have seen, though, with Belichick that he was certainly stubborn with Cam Newton and not cutting his losses there. So would it shock you if he's locked into this and saying, look, I still don't really have receivers here. I'm going to give this kid a third chance?
I highly doubt it, DJ. You can't insult Bill Belichick worse than what N'Keal Harry did. I mean, he basically went up and just spat in his face in front of everybody. When you ask for a formal public, request to be traded, right before training camp, my guess is in Bill's eyes, this is 10 times worse than what Stephon Gilmore did last week when he tweeted out what he did. This is 10 times worse. So, and now he's got, how do I handle this? This is the big question. What does he do with N'Keal Harry? Does he try and prove a point? Does he play hardball? Does he say, you're stuck on this team? You're going to get the best out of N'Keal Harry if he's on a team. You talk about the awkwardness that must be there when he has to report to camp if he's not traded before training camp between Bill and basically N'Keal Harry. And so, or you can, what you can do? You can cut him. That can maybe prove a point to the rest of the people. Hey, you're going to make trade requests. Watch, we'll just cut your ass. Or you could trade them, to another team. So those are the options. And I'm not so sure any of them are good ones at this point.
All right, we talked about how many receivers they missed on in 2019. It's been a common theme for Bill Belichick. Look at the receivers he's drafted in the first 3 rounds. And it's just, it's a scary list, from Harry to Aaron Dobson to Taylor Price to Brandon Tate, Chad Jackson, Bethel Johnson. Branch was a hit, and Deion Branch was now 20 years ago. 20, how freaking old are we? That was 20 years ago. Ted, why do you think Bill Belichick has problems at this position?
Because I think he doesn't value it. I don't think it's something that he values all that much. And let's face it, it's besides that, we've always known that. I don't think he puts a pretty high, priority on that position. Really, it never has. And then also, too, I just think the college game is so different, and it's probably harder for Bill maybe to evaluate college talent and how it's going to translate into the NFL, which is maybe hard to believe. But I think those are factors, too. The passing game is so different in college football than it is in the NFL. And so he's having a harder time, I think, evaluating the talent. And then probably the third thing, and you've kind of referenced this, and I have too. I just don't know if Bill, believe it or not, I know this is going to be blasphemous to say, I'm not so sure he works as hard at it anymore. All right. There's just plenty of examples of where Bill used to attend different events, and I think he used to go next level when he was scouting and get every single information. I'm not so sure Bill does that anymore. And he kind of just basically, tries to get information from his friends, guys that are in the coaching, and it really cuts out a lot of the hard work by just trying to get references from guys, in the coaching field in college. And that's how he makes his picks. I think that's also a factor in it as well, Michael.
Is his valuing of the receiver position also a problem? Just given not only that he typically doesn't spend a first-round pick or a top 2 round pick on a receiver, look at what he did this offseason. In his big spending spree, he went out and he signed 2 tight ends who are pretty good players, but it was Bourne and it was Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is I think he wants to start Cam Newton. And you didn't ask me that, but I think he wants Cam Newton to be his quarterback. And so, if you're going to have a quarterback like a Cam Newton, let's face it, you better go out and get some fancy toys to help elevate his play, because he's not going to elevate the play of the players around him like Tom Brady did for so long. So, DJ, I think he had to go out and get, let's face it, I think overpay for. I don't think they're great wide receivers, but I think they're good wide receivers. I think Bourne's going to be a better receiver than most people think. And Aguilar's okay. I mean, he's a deep threat. He's nothing crazy, but I think they're better at their jobs, at the positions they play, than the quarterback is at his job. And Bill had to go out and get offensive weapons that were going to be a lot better than what the quarterback is at this point, just to raise his level of play. And also, I think you have to factor into the PR aspect of this whole thing. I think the offense was just so bad, and Bill wanted to make a statement at the free agency, and he wound and overspent on guys. Let's face it, that you probably could have waited a week or 2 to get at cheaper prices, but he was also trying to make a statement with being as aggressive he was as early as he was in the free agent process.
All right, finally, a big picture take here. Mike Reese wrote this one on ESPN.com, answering the question of which AFC East team has the best 3-year outlook. He says, put me down for the Bills, but with this caveat, I believe the Patriots will be sending a big thank you note to the San Francisco 49ers for passing on Mac Jones with the number 3 overall draft pick. He slid all the way to New England at number 15 and has made a strong first impression on coaches and players. If he emerges as the quarterback of the future, as the Patriots believe he can, New England's 3-year outlook could threaten Buffalo's. Next 3 years, Teddy, rank the AFC East teams.
Ooh, good. That's a good one. All right. I think, look, in the next 3 years, I think Buffalo, I think they're here to stay, guys. I really do. I think they're going to come back just a bit this year. I'm not sure Josh Allen can play as good as he did last year. I think he'll come back. But you know what I believe in when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, Michael, DJ, is I believe Sean McDermott is the perfect coach for the Buffalo Bills. I really do. His mentality, the way he coaches, how he handles the players. Guys want to re-sign there. I mean, it's Buffalo. So guys like playing for him. So I think they got the right coach, which is half part of the problem right there. It's been there in Buffalo. So they got that. And then they got, I think, a quarterback that fits perfectly with that community, with the weather there, with that team. And so I think they have the best long-term outlook so far because they have the best quarterback coach combo. And then I think it's the Patriots. Look, if Bill Belichick's coaching this team, I know they had a bad season. I know I can be critical of Bill, but he's still the best in the business at what he does. And I think he's going to still field really good teams, even though they might not play for championships. So I would rank it the Bills, the Patriots, and then the Miami Dolphins are right there. And then Jets, please. They got to do something. Even though they look better on paper this year, they're still the New York Jets.